There's a story in Mark's gospel where he sets the scene of Jesus' crucifixion, those final moments in Jesus' life, where he's hanging on the cross, and as he gasps his last few breaths, he actually cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" As if he's in the last moment of his life on earth questioning the Father, the absence of the Father, and this sort of confused bewilderment. And if I'm being honest, hearing that story growing up in church, it always bothered me that in that moment, when the greatest victory in all of human history was being accomplished, victory of Christ's victory over death and the grave, that he was questioning the Father. It never made a lot of sense to me, and so I began to really look into that and came to understand that maybe there was a whole different perspective on that passage than what I was ever taught. You see, in the first century, the scripture that they had was the Old Testament scripture. And some of the most popular scriptures of all of them were the Psalms, which of course are songs. And Psalm 22 happens to be one of those songs. And if I were to quote the first line of a popular song today, maybe if I were to say, "Oh, say, can you see?" most Americans at least would know immediately what that song not only was, but they would know what it was about. It might even stir up some emotion inside of you because you understand the profound gravity of the weight of that song. And Psalm 22 is one of those songs. You see, the very first line says, my God, why have you forsaken me?" But if you continue to read the rest of that psalm, it's not only a lament, it's actually a song of praise and a song about great victory over one's enemies. And so I think when Jesus was crying out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" He wasn't only lamenting what he was having to experience, he was also praising the Father, and he was actually declaring victory, the greatest cry of victory in all of human history. And when just a few seconds later, that victory was accomplished.